Roses are red, violets are blue. This is season 4, and we're back too. Let's hit it.
Welcome back to Battle of the Sexes.
Welcome back. Oh my goodness, I have missed this life. I've missed the mic. I've missed talking to all of you and you not having to see my facial expressions and shit like that. Or maybe I'm joking. Anyways, welcome to Break Time on Westside, your number one break time podcast, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is none other than the tall man himself. You've seen him on the minisode, you've seen him throw shade, and at some point, even one of you pointed out that he complains about women and their inability to arc their back. The man himself is Sir Denver B, and goodness my, we're back. We are back for season 4. We never really thought that we'd get to season 4, considering all the other series that have been cancelled. Over 5 series have been launched. This is the longest running one. This feels like Days of Our Lives right now. But that being said, this season brings with it a couple of new and interesting things. For one, we're about to hit our episode 100 somewhere in the realm of these next few weeks. We are about to hit our 100th episode, which means that episode 100 is going to fall on this season. And in addition to that, we shall be celebrating our 1 year anniversary. We shall be turning 1 year old as a family and as Break Time on Westside. Like, I don't even think y'all know how appreciative I am of you that have been listening to Break Time on Westside, that have been commenting, that have been giving the feedback, the ones that have been sharing and telling people, you know what, this person is senseless, but if you listen to him very, very closely, you can find a little nugget of sense. Y'all don't understand how much I appreciate that. Like, I genuinely do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Doing this podcast has been an amazing honor, and making noise for y'all has been an amazing honor as well. But anyways, as much as I would love to go into pleasantries and talk about all the good things that are coming this whole season, like this entire 12-week period on not just Battle of the Sexes but on Tweet Street, well, it's about time I get into our main topic. Now, for a long time I have described this podcast, I have defined the podcast as a male-centric view of the world. But there is one thing that is male-centric that I've never really understood. And it's bro code. Yes, I don't entirely understand bro code. Now, when you look back at what bro code is, it's a set of unwritten rules that people live by and choose to follow with all the power and the might they have amongst their friends. Like, it's something that you have between bros, between close friends. And sometimes people live up to the bro code, sometimes people don't live up to the bro code, but the biggest issue with it is it's a set of rules that is never really set in stone and is also never really discussed, so you can't really know which one works and which one doesn't. So I figured I might as well go find out a bunch of these bro code rules and discuss them, because, well, I think some probably do deserve to be there, some do need to remain, and others do need to get kicked out. So I decided to go and ask the number one area where the largest number of men will sometimes congregate and will openly lay out their ideas, which is the internet. So went through a bunch of social media sites and I asked the question and I got quite a number of answers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I might have to do a part 2 or even a part 3 of this exact same thing just to list them down. That being said, I will not lie. 1 or 2 of these points have been repeated a bunch of times, but it still does not go away from the fact that it's quite a lot to talk about. Anyways, it's about time we get into it. So, rule number 1, never talk about quote unquote the event to strangers. Yes, I do kind of agree about it. You find that a lot of times when guys go and do something amongst friends, where when you guys go for an event, go traveling somewhere, and something interesting happens in between, you'll find that the best stories have some fucked up thing or some very sneaky or nasty thing, or there's just something that isn't so good that one of y'all or most of y'all, if not all of y'all, will have partaken in. Now, Because of that, the whole phrase of whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas makes sense. So yes, you probably shouldn't talk about the event to strangers. So this I can probably say I agree to. Next rule, no smashing each other or smashing each other's girlfriend or exes. I agree to like the first 3/4 of this, but not the entire thing. Because ideally, should you bang each other, I think that's something that goes between bros. And just to make it clear, bros can also mean, female friends that happen to be in the crew. They also classify as bros, and we do tend to treat them as such. So that being said, do I think that it's okay? I think it entirely depends on the grouping and the kind of relationship that they have. If it's a one-time thing, if it's a friends with benefits, if it's a relationship, it becomes very tricky. So it's mostly dependent, but for the sake of safety, I'd say you probably shouldn't. One of the other bros' girlfriends, I usually tell people, do not go and smash your friends' girlfriends unless your nigga is cheating. If your nigga is cheating on her and she comes to you and she wants to give you the goods, honestly, in my opinion, I don't see why the hell not. If he isn't cheating, then you probably shouldn't. That's just disrespectful. That's just plain disrespectful. Exes, well, she's pretty much back on the open market, so I don't see the reason why it is that people would say, you can't smash my ex. Frankly, I think that's absolute bullshit. Next one. This one's a 3-parter. So no approaching each other's relatives romantically. If the other side wants, they'll have to approach their relative bro first. Well, to put it into context is, I can approach one of my homies, say cousins or aunts or nieces and shit like that. I won't have to approach them at all. But if the relative wants me, they'll have to talk to my bro first. And then if he gives the go ahead, then she can come for me. Honestly, I don't believe in that. I do not believe in that. I think depending on the kind of relationship you have, then maybe you can dictate it to some level. But considering that most people aren't that close to their cousins, then I think people should be a little bit more, actually a hell of a lot more lenient when it comes to cousins. The only thing I'd probably say is don't just bang the cousin and leave her there. For the sake of some honor and respect, there's usually something about just trying to play it right there. Next rule, no sleeping with each other's wives or girlfriends unless when given permission. Take for example, under group sex, swinging, orgies, etc. Well, damn, like this guy actually thought this one through. And yes, I do totally agree. Although I will say that it is kind of weird when you think about the idea of friends sharing wives and girlfriends. It seems it's just a little bit weird if you ask me. But when I do think about it, it does make complete sense. If you're given permission, say during a threesome or during an orgy, or if you're swingers, or if it's a group sex type of situation, then yes, it does make sense. Although, like I said, it seems pretty weird. And usually I'm okay with weird, but this weird is a little beyond it. So I still find it a bit odd. Last bit of this 3-parter is never ask for a favor unless you intend to pay back the favor. Yes, I totally agree. Do not ask for favors if you're not going to repay them. Do not ask for help from someone if you know you won't help them in the future. Like, it's just a simple give and receive, but on a deeper level. And it's so frustrating that a lot of people don't entirely get it, but they might as well get it if they hear me say it. Get it? Anyways, on to the next one. Roast each other together, but stand up for each other when it comes to someone else. Yes, I do sort of agree. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a couple of, roast sessions if you guys can toy around with each other here and there at like a joker's point of view. But whenever someone else does choose to pick a fight with some of you or one of you, then yes, go on the all offensive, go and help each other out. This is something that shorties kind of do as well, and they don't even need to be that close. Like, you'll find women will touch each other all the time. They'll grab each other's tits, ass, waist, slide each other's hands like everywhere. But like, if a nigga pops up, it's like, no, you can't do that. You weren't given consent, blah, blah, blah. it's usually some funny shit. But I don't know. Maybe they just don't like nigger hands on them. Next rule. If your crush is around, no one is supposed to be as funny as you. Ooh, I don't know how to say this. I agree, but not entirely. Okay, here's the thing. I think that every person needs to have their traits enhanced whenever they're at a point where they want someone and they need to be at their best. Is everyone funny? No. So even though I'm the least funny person with a couple of my friends who aren't funny, then it doesn't help. Fine, yes, I get it. Sometimes, if you're funny, you might end up taking the crush. And as the scriptures of some nigger Bible once said, if she laughs at your jokes, so will she moan to your strokes. Galatians 4:3 from, Future's Bible or some shit. But the way I usually look at it is, there's nothing wrong with being funny, just don't use it to cock block the other person. Or at least just tone it down a little bit. Next rule. Don't count how much your friend owes you, but always keep in mind how much you owe them and your other bros, and buy food and alcohol to cover. Yes and no. Actually, no. I'm going to retract this one and say no. And it's for a very simple reason. I think you should count how much your friend or friends owe you. And I do think you always need to keep in mind how much you owe them. Like, it's an entirely level playing field. And it's not something that you have to cover with like food and alcohol. I think that, yes, as good as this rule sounds, it's not very, how would I call it? It's not very viable for long term, because there's just some of those friends that want to, consume shit on your bill, and they never really want to pay it back very well. Or at least they want to go and pay it back with some cheap alternative like food and alcohol and expect that you'll be happy. I don't believe in that shit. I believe that if you do owe me money, you do need to pay me back money. If I owe you money, I do need to pay you back. Sometimes you will cover for them for something of nearly the same cost if they ask for it, or if they're in a position where they can't get it and you can. That's what I say. And the other part of it is no hooking up with friends' exes, which I've already said, I don't have a problem with that. Next rule. No eye contact during a threesome. I've never had a devil's threesome, but I've been around niggas when we're all butt naked and there's always this dick measuring contest. So when you're having a devil's threesome, there's some level of, you know what, I don't want to see the other person's dick and then start comparing it to my own. The way I usually see it is, just the same way you wouldn't want to look at a nigga when you're taking a piss, is just the same kind of reason why you wouldn't want to lock eye contact when you're having a threesome, or even when you're like jerking off or some shit. If you're busy rolling the dice with your monkey, you obviously don't want to see a nigga. That's part of the reason why we usually kind of feel bad whenever, we're doing it to porn, and then while we're about to climax on like the shorty's position, it just switches to the guy's face. It's incredibly annoying. Most people don't understand how annoying it is. Next rule. Turn into the dumber person whenever a woman who your friend is clearly attracted to starts talking to the both of you. I kind of agree with this, but not entirely. Like I said on the other one, try and help amplify your friend's better traits. If they're a much better gamer, if they're a much better conversationalist, if they are passionate about certain topics, get them passionate and get them, looking their best and being at their most confident, because they know that they're really good at that shit. That way, it'll probably help attract the girl a hell of a lot more than trying to make them seem like they're the funniest person there. Because frankly, after he gets the girl, if he does, and then you end up being the funnier one, it's just gonna seem like y'all were just trying to play her into a funny kind of trap. Which just sounds wrong when you speak of it like that, when I say it like that. Anyways, on to the next one. This one is a 4-parter that I got. 1. If you ever want to talk about your feelings, I'm here for you. Yes, I agree. This is very, very crucial. 2, if you're dating my sister or ex, then I'm happy for you, but I don't want to hear the details. Yes, I think this person also deserves a huge round of applause. At least the person who put this code rule in was clearly aware of the fact that, you know what, every shorty that you'll date, every shorty that you'll hit, every babe that you'll have a one night stand with is going to be someone's sister, cousin, daughter, mother at some point or another in your lifetime or in their lifetime. So by all means, if you're gonna do it, it's fine, just don't give the details. And for me, I'll add an added tip. If it's another nigga's sister, then also treat them extra well. I'm not saying that people who don't have sisters or if the brother isn't one of your niggas, you should treat her badly. But I'm just saying, for your friend's sake, treat her extra nicely. Because, well, if shit flies through the window, then, well, you might just get killed. Next one. If you're talking shit, I'm gonna call you out on it. Yes, I totally agree. I do think that people need to be called out on most of the BS that they speak. And at the same time, I do think that you shouldn't cancel your friends. You shouldn't cancel your bros based on a difference in opinion. But when it does come to some issues which have more factual conclusions or there's better ways of looking at it, we should all be open to learning a little bit more and not, trying to toss each other in the wrong way. But that being said, yes, do not accept toxicity from your friends. Call each other out on their bullshit. And finally, no swearing in the family homes or around the families, which is something I think is also an optional thing. If it's around the family home and there's no one there but you and the boys, then I don't really see much of an issue. But if there's family members, I'd say don't swear to the family members, don't swear loudly around them, and don't swear with the family members unless it's like peers and colleagues. That probably makes a little bit more sense. Next rule: be as mad as you want, but the moment they get into a fight, you help them out, because at the end of the day, they're your bro. Yes, this is something that I totally live by, because there's this thing called loyalty that people don't know how to have nowadays. I don't know if it's a nowadays thing or if it's just a people thing, but loyalty is a very, very important trait. You can have all the money in the world, but with no loyalty, it'll be super easy for you to lose all of it. And because of loyalty, I do think that people need to help each other out, stand up for each other, and it's something that transcends emotion. So even though you're pissed at them, even though you want to beat the person, if the time comes when you need to stand up for them, you stand up for them because you're loyal like that. I only wish people were as loyal as the way I'm talking about it right now. Okay, the last one for this part. Share what you have because it all comes back around. I kind of agree, but I don't really agree to it, because sharing what you have, I don't have a problem with sharing. It's just I can't share everything, and I'm not even going to include girls or anything of that sort. But sharing, yes, share what you have when you can, if the other person does not have a way to get something of their own. If you have, if you have food in your house and the other person's hungry, feed them. But if they left their house intentionally hungry, then you could probably feed them, but you'll have to learn how to play around with it a little bit. And ideally, a lot of times people share so much, but they get so little in return. If your bro is your bro and he is close to you, and the person is super close to you, then I think you can share a lot with them, but I don't believe in sharing everything. That's just me. Anyways, that being said, I do want to know which of these rules that you believe in, whether you are a guy or a girl. Y'all can hit us up on the IG handle. If you haven't followed, you can go and follow there. We post up pretty much every day. It is at Breaktime on Westside. On Twitter, you can hit me up at Bagaka the D, and I will see you guys later. Take care.